Tonight on Nick at Night, special episode for you. It's going to be surrounding the Hollywood king, Kevin Spacey, and his pathetic fall from grace. Spacey was once hailed as one of the best in Hollywood, the king. He was beloved by directors, by actors, by the Academy, and in a lot of cases, the audience. He gave us an image that obviously didn't match who he actually was. So, the House of Cards has begun to collapse, and we're here to cover it. We're also going to give you some insight into a great HBO series that's under the radar. It's become a cult classic over the years. But first, to Spacey.
Teach them right from wrong.
Kevin Spacey's always played odd roles. Two of his most famous movies that he won Oscars for were The Usual Suspects in '95 and American Beauty in 1999. Audiences loved him for that weird crap that he'd pull on screen, and I admit, I did too. I loved those movies. He pulled you in with this dark, weird character that didn't usually say a lot, but always had that weird vibe to him. As my friend once said, I'd never trust him to watch my kids. Great actor, but wouldn't let him into my house. These recent stories about him being a sexual deviant and a predator now prove that point. He played the role a little too well. And now in House of Cards as Frank Underwood, they're tanking production after hearing that he was just so sick behind closed doors they could no longer be associated with him. I think it's disgusting. Hollywood preaches to us about what to think, what to eat, who to vote for, how to act, and yet they don't hold themselves to the same standard. That is the definition of hypocrisy. I think it's disgusting. It's sickening to watch these people from up on high tell us how to live. And on the same token, these are the same people preaching things like tolerance, feminism. They're against sexual harassment in the workplace, equal pay, gender gap, and yet they're sexually assaulting their own employees, fellow actors and actresses. And when they're caught, the excuse is, oh, I don't remember that, but I am deeply shocked and appalled. You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if they just told their PR agent to write up a statement for them, and they don't even care. There's no genuine feeling, there's no remorse, and it's spreading. I think this also shows there is a connection between the news media and Hollywood. Anchor Mark Halperin was just busted for his time at ABC when he sexually assaulted 5 female co-workers. Now we have Spacey in Hollywood. They're playing off each other. This is more evidence that if you pull back the curtain on things like Hollywood and mainstream news networks, you're not going to like what you find. They're just as sick as the people they're condemning, and that can't be. We can't have people in positions of authority with microphones and megaphones shouting what we should be believing when they're the worst offenders of all. And let's also just get it out there. House of Cards is beginning to suck. It's been sucking for years. It started off strong in the first 2 seasons, but it got crazy with the threesomes. Spacey be sleeping with his Secret Service agent, sleeping with his wife at the same time, banging photojournalist, sleeping with the guy writing his biography. It got out of control. And the whole time, the actor executive produced and did it with a smile on his face. You want to know why? He probably got off on it. Just being real. So now that the inevitable collapse of the House of Cards is on its way, we may not get to see Frank Underwood's ending on screen, but we certainly will see the end of Kevin Spacey's career in real time. So we'll keep an eye out on any more deviant activities from him and follow the stories for you, the viewer, to let you know how bad the hypocrisy will continue to get. Now, enough on that disgusting front. I can't even think about Spacey anymore, so let's move on. The show we have for you on Nick's Picks.
Whatever lurks ahead of grievous abominations and disorder, you and me walk into it together, like always.
Something terrible is going to happen here.
My proposal would be we leave the camp immediately.
A choice for me to make.
You would not want to be staring like that at me.
Be where I can find you.
Our operation here is organized exactly to capitalize on what this camp is ready for and for what it's going to become. You're going to find out something now about yourselves and your fellow man.
You don't get to walk away without saying why.
I love her.
The claims, Richardson, they are being overturned.
May I introduce my wife, Martha, and our son, William.
Does he want to die?
I do not need to kill another man.
Next one is to your head, Dan. Running away solves absolutely nothing.
Welcome to Deadwood.
Deadwood's a great series because it's unique. Any show that goes a short amount of seasons always has intrigue because it's short, it's to the point, and even if there isn't a resolution, you don't have to wait 6, 8, 10 seasons to get the payoff. Deadwood was canceled early on, but it's called one of HBO's greatest shows. A lot of gunfights, a lot of cute ladies, a lot of intrigue, and some great actors. Timothy Olyphant, who is in a show called Justified, he plays the lead character and protagonist, and Ian McShane, who's used to playing villains and made an appearance on Game of Thrones, plays Al Swearingen, the lead villain in the show. If you're looking for something new, I would definitely check out the pilot at the very least. Download it illegally if you have to, but I think it'll be more than enough to convince you to pick up an HBO Go subscription and check it out. And the other thing about it, the last thing I'll say about it, is its dialogue. It tries to stay true to how they actually spoke back then in the West. And there's a beauty in that. There's a philosophy in their words. They weren't just dumb people that went west for opportunity and couldn't read or write. They had thoughts and feelings and emotions just like us, and they were living in the US at a time where there was no law. It was crazy. It was the Wild West. So this show stays very true to reality, but at the same time offers an exciting, fresh take on an old favorite. We recommend you check it out. Thanks so much for joining us and putting up with my outrage over Kevin Spacey. Trust me, we will maintain our vigilance on this topic, and we will keep going after those who claim to be above the law and claim to be the example, but in reality are just trying to drag us all down. Thank you for joining us. Hope you'll join us again next week. I'm your host, Nick Jeeves, and have a great week.